Welcome to day 4 of the 6 key ingredients of a successful Pythonista. My name is Julian and I'm going to run you through the productivity techniques that you need to know to earn your hours back. And they involve a couple of key topics that Bob and myself have really found to be useful. We still use them every single day, every single week, and you will learn them too. So let's get into it. All right, so here we are on day 4, productivity techniques to earn your hours back. The first thing we need to do is go through a time audit. Now, what is a time audit and what is it for? Well, the first thing is poor time management is a huge reason for a lack of productivity. And you might call time management, priority management, whatever you want to call it. It is something that we all need to do our very best to get under control in order to be productive. Now, a time audit comes into play here because a time audit is going to allow you to look at your current behaviors, your current schedule, the current actions that you are taking, and let you figure out where you can make improvements. Because if you don't measure what you're doing now, there's no way to know where you can fit in all of the work that you want to get done, all of the goals that you want to achieve. So the first thing you need to do is grab a spreadsheet, a piece of paper, a notebook, whatever you have on hand, whatever you can keep with you throughout your day. So if you work from home, if you're at home a lot, a laptop or a computer with a spreadsheet is a really good idea. But if you happen to be out and about, use your mobile, use your notebook or a piece of paper. Now, the spreadsheet is perfect because you have the grid. So essentially you want to create a grid and you want to note down on the left the hours of your day. And when I say the hours of your day, I'm talking about everything from when you wake up to when you go to bed, and make every horizontal line an hour slot or half hour even. So if you wake up at 7 o'clock every day, you want to start with 7 a.m. And then the next one down is going to be 7:30, 8 o'clock. Much like a notebook, much like a planner or a daily planner or a calendar, whatever you want to call it. You want to have one of those, and you want to be able to note down something against every hour or half hour block for your day. Now, this is the key part, and this is where it becomes a challenge and it becomes an effort for you, but you have to stick with it. You want to record everything that you do throughout the day in those time slots. Now, I stick with a half-hour block because I have quite a lot of things to do, and I try and carve my day up in a half-hour segments. Now, what you want to do is from 7 a.m., from the moment you wake up, what did you do? Where did you go? You don't have to say who you saw, but essentially you want to put down what you did. So today, for example, I might say 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock because it took an hour. I was with my kids, getting them ready for school. But at 8 o'clock, I had a meeting, and that meeting went for half an hour. So from 8 to 8:30, I will put in meeting. And then 8:30 to 9 o'clock, I might have sat on email and whatever it is. I didn't do a time audit today, so you don't have to do this every day. That's the next step. The catch is you want to do this for the day, get to the very end, be honest with yourself. That is key. You have to be honest. You have to make sure you're getting all the dirty details in there. So if you found that you spent from 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. watching Netflix, put it down. If you spent 8 o'clock to 9 p.m. on your phone browsing Facebook or something, put it down. Watching YouTube, get it in there. So if you did anything in those time slots, you need to get it in there. Then you need to keep it up for multiple days. Now there's a reason for that. You want to see the trends. You want to see, does every day look the same? Is one day worse than others? So you could do it for a week. I tend to do it in 3-day blocks because most of my days look very similar. And I'm not too fussed about the weekend because the weekends are my days off, and I will just do this from Monday to Friday. Now, once you do this, you want to reflect on every single thing that you did. You want to look at your day and you want to see where wasted time was, because nothing is more poison to your productivity than those wasted time slots. Things like Facebook, things like or any social media really. Were you watching TV for 3 hours? Did it surprise you? You will find so many things in your day surprising, and you'll go, wow, that is where my time went, and that is the purpose of this exercise. So I want you to go out and do that, and that is the first thing you need to do to claim back your productivity. Next up, I'm going to teach you about the Pomodoro Technique. You may have already heard this, but it is a key technique that Bob and I use to really find success in everything that we do. The first thing you want to do is remove all distractions. Get everything away from around you that may distract you. It could be the family. In my case, it's the kids. It could be your mobile phone. It could be email. It could be anything. Even video games, whatever it might be. Remove all those distractions from around you when you're going to do some work. Silence all notifications. Now that is key, because even your computer has notifications like Slack popping up when you don't want it to, and your mobile dinging every 5 minutes. So if you can't remove it from around you, or it's in front of you as part of the task that you're doing, silence the notifications. Then what you want to do is set a timer for 15 minutes. Now you can use your phone, you can use anything that happens to be around you. Use a clock, get a physical timer, set a timer on your computer, but set it for 15 minutes. Now 15 minutes is my sweet spot. For you it might be 10, it might be 20, it might be 30. Whatever it happens to be, set yourself a timer, because then you have a finite amount of time to work. You have a start, you have an end, and that is key to staying focused during the Pomodoro. The next step is work. Whatever it is that you said you were going to do, do it. Sit there, focus, no distractions, get it done. Get as much as you can done in the time before the timer goes off. When the timer goes off, you stop. Now, if you're disciplined enough, you can continue. You can use the Pomodoro, this session, as a way of building momentum and getting yourself into the zone. And if you find when the timer goes off that you are in the zone and you don't want to get out, well, then don't get out of the zone. Just keep working. That is amazing if you can do that. What you want to do then is take a 5-minute break. And this is why it's so effective as a technique, because when you are in that zone, you know that there is an end. And at the end of the timer, you know that you can go and take that 5-minute break to catch up on the things you might have missed that were burning at you, like your social media or your email or the phone call that you didn't even know was ringing because your notifications were silenced. So get that 5-minute break in to give yourself a break, to be nice to yourself. And then repeat. So if this is your work day and you happen to be working from home or working from a desk somewhere, whatever it is, repeat this for as many times as you can before the next break or the next meeting, whatever. You want to get as many of these in as possible, because they will help you stay focused on the task, and they will help you really achieve whatever it is you're setting out to achieve, whatever that goal happens to be. Now, this link here, tomato-timer.com, is a great free Pomodoro timer, tomato timer, whatever you want to call it, that lives on the internet. It just has a few simple buttons, start and stop, whatever. That's all you need. Or if you really can, use your phone if you trust yourself. So if you can use your phone, that's fine, because then you can do that from anywhere, right? Of course, you can use Tomato Timer on your phone, but this is the Pomodoro Technique. This is what we use all the time. In fact, I used it to make the slides that you are watching. I removed all distractions, including Bob. He's a distraction sometimes. And I was able to build all of these slides in just a couple of minutes. So, perfect. All right, next up, we are going to talk about triggers and habits. Okay, now we all know we have bad habits. All of us have them, whatever they happen to look like to us. For me, my bad habit at a certain time was checking my mobile phone for social media posts and whatever else was going on Facebook, Twitter, Slack, you name it, even email on my phone. It was ridiculous. Now, the first thing to breaking these habits is to recognize when you're enacting on that habit. And the reason we're talking about this, of course, is because these bad habits can really get in the way of productivity. So for me, checking my phone for social media posts and whatever notifications were there was taking me away from my work. It was distracting me, it was slowing me down, and it was a real pain in the butt. So what you need to do is recognize when that's happening. Stop yourself for a second. Just stop yourself and say, whoa, I'm actually in the middle of this bad habit. Then what you need to do is identify what triggered that action. So in my case, what made me pull out my phone and look up the post, look up Facebook? A lot of the time it was just idle time. I found that I was distracted by the notification, so that was a trigger. I found that I was walking between meetings. I was walking just down the street, whatever it happened to be. When I found myself idle, I was pulling out my phone and instinctively looking at it. And it was really frustrating because me personally, when I look at those things, I tend to go down a rabbit hole, much like when people are reading Reddit. And by going down that rabbit hole, I was taking away from my goal because more and more time was wasted looking at Facebook. Now, once you've figured out what those triggers are, plan to eliminate or avoid them where possible. So obviously, in my case, using this as an example again, I can't eliminate free time when walking down the street or walking between meetings. That's just going to happen. But what I can eliminate are the notifications on my phone. I can turn them off. So I did. And I no longer get that, frustrating pull to go and look at Facebook. Okay? When I do walk between meetings, though, I have to make a conscious effort that trigger is activating, because it is still super tempting when I get out of a meeting, pull out my phone and check Facebook because I've been in a meeting not looking at Facebook or whatever it happens to be. Now, this is not something that bothers me anymore, but it was once upon a time. So when you can recognize that trigger is activating, you can do something about it, and you can make that conscious decision to put the phone back in your pocket. Or, another thing that was an issue for me was pulling a snack out of the pantry. So put the snack back when you recognize that trigger of being in the kitchen is pulling you in to eat junk food. Now, the beauty of this is it's not all doom and gloom. There are some beautiful things you can do with triggers and habits. The first thing you can do is plan some intentional triggers of your own. Now, these are triggers you can create for yourself that trigger off good habits that will help you grow, habits that will help you stay productive in what it is that you set out to do. So here's a great example that Bob uses. In the morning, when he makes a coffee, that is a trigger to read a book. And sure enough, true to his word, every day he makes a coffee, buys a coffee, whatever it is, and he sits down and he reads for half an hour or whatever time he can get. But that is an amazing trigger, an amazing example of a trigger that helps with growth, because reading is a surefire way to grow, as we all know. This is one that I do. When I finish cleaning the dishes after dinner, after the kids have gone to bed, cleaning the kitchen, once all of that work is done, and I feel that line in the sand of, okay, the chores are done, I'm free to go, that to me is a trigger to get straight to work on my goals, to work on Pie Bites, to work on supporting our community, to supporting our clients, to even doing this, to recording this video. And it is a beautiful way for me to put a line in the sand between my personal day of family time and all of that, and moving into my time of working on my goals. So you can set up triggers like that. And this last one is a beautiful one that I absolutely love, and this is set an alarm. If you can set an alarm at a fixed time to do something, your body and your memory and all of your habit building muscles will start to mold to that fixed time that, hey, when 11 o'clock a.m. comes, you're going to go for a walk. So for me, when that alarm goes off, that is my exercise time, and I go and do that exercise without fail. And that's it. So if you can work on your triggers, if you can recognize where the triggers are that are spurring bad habits, then create triggers that inspire good habits, you are going to be on that path to productivity and success quicker than you can imagine. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. That was productivity techniques to earn your hours back. So in this one, we covered off the time audit. So get out there and get that done. That's your first action. You want to get that time in your day. Then we covered off the Pomodoro Technique. So set off those 15-minute blocks to get your work done. And then we talked about triggers and habits. So let's get some triggers in place, some good positive triggers that get you doing that work and getting you closer to your goals. So if you can do those 3 things, you will be well on your way to success and improve your productivity. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask you before you go on to the next day, before you go and get this stuff done, is make sure you ping me on the PyBite Slack. The link is below, and in the email that you got sent for this, my tag is julian.sequeira, so make sure you send me a message, let me know what you thought of this video, and more importantly, let me know the time you got back. Let me know how much success you got from implementing these techniques, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.